That was a
What was
fellowship they were going to offer,
Right.
but it got taken away, so.
Does-
To the June meeting of the Human Rights Commission, Ann Arbor Human Rights Commission. Kennedy, could you call roll?
Yes.
Make sure we have quorum.
Chair Stanball,
Here?
Vice Chair Garber,
Here.
Commissioner Winkler,
Here.
Commissioner Meadows,
Here.
Commissioner Cohen,
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez Jackson,
Here.
Commissioner Bond, Commissioner Noel, Commissioner Lane, City Council Watson, City Council Godzi Etwin. We have quorum.
Good. Good. Agenda. Can we approve the agenda? Or I have a motion to approve the
I
agenda.
move we approve the agenda.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public comment. Don't see any. No public comment, we will continue. Approval of the April minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Approved. City Council overview, you notice that neither Chris or, but I did talk to Aisha today, and she gave me just a little bit to pass on to you, and that is that you remember the $1 million that they were going to, it's being used for good purposes. I think she said.
Okay,
For the
can you-
unarmed response, you mean? No.
$1 million.
No, this was contingency for cuts that might come
Oh, yes.
from the federal government.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So I think $300,000 have been appropriated for food, going to food gatherers and being distributed, and it's needed evidently. $400,000 for eviction coverage, and I think $300,000 for substance.
For what
abuse
now?
Substance abuse.
So are these, when they say food, like to food gatherers
Yes.
to support, and then when they say for eviction prevention, is that what?
Grant.
Counseling or money?
I think it's money.
Okay,
But
great.
it sometimes
Direct
goes to
payments.
buster barriers,
They-
just
but
through the
they-
county.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
but they do.
disperse it out through the other entities that serve that.
But they are very good about paying,
Yeah.
so that's good.
It's very
And-
good, and it's good that they anticipated it.
And the last one was?
Was substance abuse issue.
Treatment,
I
like-
suppose down farms and places like that.
Home Divisions, but do they list entities or just
No,
no?
she just told me
Okay.
briefly, and she said she was not feeling well, and so.
Okay,
it was a
all right, great.
good
No, no, that's-
conversation.
That's
But
wonderful.
that's-
I'd like to
yeah.
hear that. Home
Yeah.
Divisions, they treat women, the smaller group, so it's good.
Good. You both have trouble. Okay, complaints overview. Judah.
Okay. We technically have 3 outstanding, but really, in fact, only one. One of them has been, just learned has been resolved, and the other one, I think it's just a matter of paperwork, but substantively was resolved a while back. And then there's a new one which was assigned to someone, but that person, that commissioner is unavailable, so we're going to reassign it.
Good.
And that's actually, the complainant filed 2, but one has been already removed, or it's been early handled the same matter, and it's not appropriate for our agency. But the other one needs our attention. So, and that one,
Good.
I'll try to speak to people.
I'm glad to see
Get it
we're
signed.
getting some, because I think it's tough out there. And we're one of the few groups that are taking complaints and doing something about it, so good thing. I wanted to report on our meeting in April, actually, with Chief Anderson. And I want to report it because also I want you to be thinking of if there's anything that we missed last time that or something that's come up that you want us to deal with, because we've got another meeting with him Friday. And it is Pam, Linda, and Judah, and myself. And I'm trying to get more people involved. So in April, we had Rebecca join us, and Pam was there. And we talked about a number of things. As soon as I find my notes. Good. I do not see my notes on that. Oh, it must be here. Okay, here it is. We talked a little bit about immigration and ICE in the city. Not much. He's really not being involved, and just as he should be, and he's really doing what what city council, the ordinance that is followed, the ordinances.
I'm sorry, say again? He didn't, I missed you after you said he didn't.
He's doing what he's supposed, he's not involved that much in ICE, because the ordinance says that they don't enforce our ordinances, we don't enforce. Right. So he, he didn't know that much about it. He didn't have that much to say. He's not helping certainly, and he's not hindering. Yeah. He meaning the Ann Arbor Police Department. We also talked briefly about towing, because we had received 2 towing complaints, and we didn't know who, and it was about the treatment people were getting from the towing companies. They were, should I say what the complaints were about?
So what happened?
Well, I mean, maybe I should say, because I kind of handled it.
Okay.
One was private property, so just a privately contracted towing company that charged a lot of, like way too much money and didn't treat the person well and required cash, even though the state law says you're not allowed to do that.
And it's
so
a lot of money.
it does, it's not really our thing, but I was able to find several resources for her. There's a complaint process that she can actually file a complaint with a place in the city, and she can, also the county has sort of, I forget what it's called, like an economic justice unit, so they can investigate things like this.
Who?
And then
Ellie's office?
Ellie's had it. I mean, so we basically conveyed these resources to the complainant, who was grateful. The second one was from somebody who was towed from a city street. So, well, we learned that the city, it's the county that contracts with towing companies, not the city, but the city. So the city somehow uses those services that the county contracts with. I don't know how it all works. The problem is this guy never. We asked follow-up questions to find out, how much they charged, did they follow the law, and then he wrote back saying he was really too busy to provide that information right now, and he would get back to us, and he never did. So that's the one that maybe we would have a little more, control over if it turns out that towing company was acting illegally. But we don't know.
So just so I'm clear, the county has the contract for towing services for everybody and for all the entities within the county. And if there's a car blocking my driveway sitting on the street, I would call the county?
No, you'll call the city, and the city then, so it's a little murky, I don't know. But we didn't have to pursue it since we never got more information about this. But if he does write back, we will,
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah,
So
I know.
that's a service they provide municipalities and townships
for the city pays for it.
I don't know, but
Gee, I'm sure.
according to the police chief, the police have nothing to do with it. So, if you know somebody who is the group, what is the group?
We talked to Margie about this when the first thing came in. She was very helpful. She checked to make sure that the first complaint had to do with private property, not city property, which it did. She found out who the contractors were that the county hires. This particular entity was not among them. And then the second complaint, she found out it was in fact a city street. So, but then we couldn't take it further because we just don't have any more information.
But in that instance, the city would have to verify that there was some violation, right?
I would think,
Right?
Okay. Right, that's why the
I
city
don't know.
would seem to bear some, they would seem to.
Right?
They should care.
Interesting
Who's doing what.
Have a catalyst action.
Totally.
It doesn't sound like the police chief thought that the city was involved unless the car was blocking something.
No, I mean, there are a lot of times when...
I know when you go...
Oh, no, I think the city often comes around and puts
tickets on.
No, and I've seen them towed around football in my neighborhood. I get towed all the time.
I've had cars towed from in front of my driveway because, Ohio State comes to town.
Exactly. No, I know. But that's
better be
obstructing.
sick. But saying that requires a police person to come and verify that this is wrongful parking, and then they get a ticket, and then they can be towed. Like I couldn't just say to the tow truck driver.
Right.
No, it's the city.
The city for that. But the city doesn't have people normally going around.
No, I'm saying
they do.
He didn't. He said they didn't.
The city ticketing people?
Huh?
The people, does he?
He knows they ticket him, but it didn't sound like
Really?
unless they were over a couple, I don't know.
Well, say you're
He
walking
didn't
down
say
the
they, huh?
if you're a beat cop, on the street
Oh, you
mingling
might.
in the neighborhood, and you see a car blocking a
Blocking.
fire hydrant.
Blocking they do.
Yeah.
There's no question about
Well,
that.
Well,
some signs say tow-away zone, so.
But anyway, it's not
Yeah.
the,
Clogging pickup zones in front of
Right,
a child care
Sure,
yeah,
thing. That was
sure.
going on, I mean,
No,
a couple
no,
years
no,
ago,
they should-
right?
Yeah, so anyway,
Yeah.
right now it's a moot question. If it comes up again, we'll pursue it.
no, I just thought if
Well,
you knew somebody who they should complain to.
Maybe we could just get a little background in the interim
Well,
of what what it looks like when it's working well, right? So we have a baseline.
I guess so, although I do wonder to what extent this has anything to do with the Human Rights Commission. It just happens that they came to us because they didn't know where else to go. So we want to kind of facilitate, we want the city to know if the city
Right.
is hiring indirectly or directly businesses that are not following it. So we would communicate this to the city, but then it would be up to the city.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
to carry our part of it in order to
I'm not
know
sure what that is. Yeah.
what is decent, respectful,
Right.
expected treatment look like.
Right.
Well, you said you've had some place that people could complain to, and I think.
Yeah, there's an actual form and you can file a
Where is
complaint.
it?
No.
No.
It's a district court form.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
you hear some things. I don't know if they make things up. Once I connect this to your car, I can't unconnect it.
Right.
Why?
No, you need a
Is that
place to complain
why?
to. That's what I was thinking.
Why is
Yeah.
that?
It's
Anyway,
not us,
so-
but there
We-
is.
yeah,
there is.
but
right
we
now,
know
there's
it's
nothing
not
on the table.
right.
Yeah.
And we'd never had it before.
Not
He
right.
said he had also heard complaints.
Mm.
I mean,
Not
this is
right.
not uncommon.
The chief.
The chief, yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
We talked about traffic stop information. They were monitoring it before, and ICPOC wanted to know if, since their new ordinance having the don't stop for trivial things ordinance, she wanted to know if they were actually doing that. And they are still collecting traffic stop data, and it can be analyzed.
How?
So we can look before and after.
How can we request?
ICPOC will probably request it. It's a little bit early. I mean, you need time.
When did it
I assume that they just issue some sort of state report and then we'd all begin with that.
I don't think so.
You think ICPOC will determine what the,
Yeah, or we'll talk
Nature
to,
of the report will do.
we might talk to ICPOC,
okay.
but I think you need about a year, at least a year's,
Well,
and maybe 2 years
You know how you,
data. But if they weren't collecting the data, we couldn't do it. That's what I wanted to make sure.
I was just looking for a generalized annual report to give us some
Yeah.
sense. Are the numbers down?
Yeah,
Right.
A feel,
Stops,
not a
yeah.
deep dig.
yeah.
That was,
I don't know what they get, but we'll find out.
that'd be
And I
helpful.
will ask. Okay. Unarmed response.
The handout is in you guys' packets.
Thank you.
Yes. And what the handout basically says is that in 2021, there was an ordinance that said they would in fact implement unarmed
I read
response.
that.
Or at some point.
Uh-huh.
That the
Right, I remember that.
city administrator was charged with that.
Right.
Is it an
It is now
ordinance?
2025.
It's a resolution, not an
It's a
ordinance.
resolution, right.
Not an ordinance.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is now.
And I wanted to find out, I want to tell you, first of all, that this is something that we were interested in. Before the formation of ICPOC, which I think was about 2017,
Earlier than that, I think, when you guys first talked, because I came on towards the end of when you all were.
I think Stephanie
Writing it.
said it was about 6 or 7 years of ICPOC. But before that, if people had trouble with police, they'd come to us. And we really didn't have the wherewithal to deal with it, but we did because there was no one else. And for that reason, we helped trigger the formation of ICPOC, and we asked for different kinds of, we asked for things equivalent to unarmed response for people who were not dangerous and needed help, needed probably mental health help. And so unarmed response is historically in our bailiwick. And the lack of unarmed response often leads to human rights problems. So I feel, I don't know, I feel it's important. I'm trying to figure out how important you feel it is, because it is now 2025. We don't have one. There have been, the city administrator has been gathering information. He's gone to a number of installations to see what they do and to come up with some idea of what we want. He has put out, I know of 2 RFPs, and he has a request for proposals for, it's hard to know what it was for. I read them both. It was still hard for me to figure out, and surprisingly, no one they did not get a lot of answers. The second one might not have gotten any answers. It's been pulled. I looked for it.
The second one was pulled?
Well, I don't know if it was pulled, but it should have been due by now, and it's not on the. It's not showing at all. Usually it shows, and it shows what's.
So no proposal was accepted?
No proposal was accepted. There was one. The only one that was the only proposal that was submitted was from the group that's now in Ypsilanti called Care-Based.
And that was the first one.
That was the first one.
Is there an analysis as to the issues, the problems with the proposals that have been submitted, so that the process could at least continue to grow in its sense of what it needs?
Well, that's part of my frustration. My frustration is
So that's a no?
that not only do I don't think there has been anything like that, but also I don't think we have not been consulted about it at all, and we've asked many times. ICPOC, the last time I asked, and I had a call into Stephanie, and she didn't answer, so I don't know yet, but last time I asked, they hadn't talked about it either. So we're not getting any input from at least us, and probably not them. And I would think you'd want
clarification, at the last ICPOC meeting, Councilmember Iyer did let the commission know that the unarmed response program is still something City Council is planning to do. Right now, the city administrator is traveling to different locations to learn about different unarmed response program. The issue is the other unarmed response programs have law enforcement involvement.
Some don't.
They have long.
So right now, again, this is what I've heard. I don't want to be debated about this. Is that he is still looking and locating additional unarmed response programs. So it is still.
So
I missed your lesson. You said the problem is, and then I missed it.
The ones that he's gone to, has learned about, those ones have, law enforcement involvement, but he is still looking at other locations.
And I have to clarify that actually I know that's not true, because he went to Durham, which does not.
Well, I didn't know when.
Yeah, no.
I was saying, I don't know when.
I'm not saying,
this was told the last ICPOC meeting. That was in May.
Totally
I say that he could have probably gone to what was it?
In Portland,
Durham, North Carolina.
He probably went to Durham, North Carolina. But again, I found this information out at the last ICPOC meeting.
I'm not saying, I know, and that is what they have been saying.
That's what they've been saying.
And we started to Portland.
Well, right, oh yes.
Right, they don't.
Oh yes.
The original Peace
I think
Mix.
it was Eugene.
Oh, you do, right, but you know the group.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I think their objection is still they're not comfortable with unarmed response when it comes right down to it. They're afraid to send people in without police backup. And I was hoping that maybe if he goes and visits a place like Durham, he sees that it's working well, maybe he can be convinced that at least in some cases you can comfortably do that.
He also hasn't shared any updates or any notes about his travels or what outcomes have come from these
Right.
places, so that all is to come soon.
What
But
what
that-
role
Needs to come.
do we want? What role do we want to play in this
And
process?
how would we feel
But-
like
but-
we'd
but-
be useful?
But I want to know first, what is our will?
Well, that-
what is
that
our
is
will
what-
and our
that's why-
desire?
that's
Then
why
we
I
can
did-
carve it
yeah.
into shape.
I agree.
So what is it that we would like?
Well, what we have asked for in the past is that we be consulted.
So we want to consult.
That's what we've asked for.
Yeah.
Because given that there doesn't seem to be aggressive public analysis of the issues that have prevented any of the current programs from being accepted, the community can't be, made aware of why we haven't gone forward. And there's a model, clearly, that is being sort of set as the standard, like I will accept nothing less than this model. So he's looking for that, right? And I guess that model has some level of law enforcement on hold or by access.
Yeah.
Well, what can we ask people? Because that has a little bit of a paternalistic ring to it.
Well, and I heard a broadcast from EMU that said what's going on. I mean, people are at least starting to recognize that we haven't heard anything. So a lot of people don't even know he's going other places.
I think if we had Aisha and Chris here, they could share some more information. They did at a prior meeting about the funding for it and how it was
Right.
now going to be used for something else, but they weren't getting rid of unarmed response. They were going to find funding. Remember?
No,
They
I
were
know, but
talking
at
about the
city
funding
council
for it.
meeting, he came to
Oh,
city council
yeah,
meeting
no.
with Dahoney, and basically he said, I'm still looking, but he didn't share very much information.
That's a death knell.
Well,
I mean, we could ask for a meeting with him, right?
When
Because
you're-
it
when
seems
you're-
like it's up to him in the end.
it is up to him,
Yeah.
and I don't think he wants to meet with us, and that's why.
Well,
So
we
I
can-
want to know how
your
much to
budget's-
push. Huh?
When your budget's been
Your budget-
reassigned temporarily.
Well, but it's
That's not a
not,
good
but it's
sign.
temporarily, and there's a
Oh,
promise there. So,
Sure,
I mean,
oh
I
yeah, I don't put that into my bank account.
I think we can ask. I think we can ask for a meeting.
Okay.
There's no reason not.
City
And-
Council, if you reach out to Aisha or Chris and ask them to set up a meeting with the city administrator, I'm sure they'd be willing to do that.
I have an idea.
Well,
I have an idea. Why don't we look at the police oversight proposal process, right? The proposal that this committee got.
There was a resolution.
Well, not just a resolution, but I mean, there were a lot of hearings and meetings before people agreed on an IPOC
Oh,
and what shape it would take.
yeah.
Well, why can't we? No, I'm not suggesting that we be a standalone. I'm saying it might be a nice opportunity to hold some community listening sessions and let people begin to put on record what they would like to see, what they would agree to, would they feel safe.
Well, they
These
started
are-
that. I don't think they did it very effectively, but they did start it years ago.
Lisa Jackson.
That's right, Lisa Jackson did
Who
start
was
it.
the head of ICPOC?
Yes.
She did a lot of work on this. She came and talked to us about all the options. Were you there for that?
I remember, but that was a few years ago now.
Yes, but so I feel like it's been done, and now it's up to Mr. Dahoney, and we should talk to Mr. Dahoney.
I think so too.
Because we
I'm
know-
not
we know
saying.
what the options are.
And I'm not saying
Yeah.
not do that.
Yeah.
To me, it's a kind of everything. Everybody should be talking about it
Right.
at once, so that we can maybe craft a small pilot. Why not? A small pilot.
One of the things he did find is that pilot is the way to start, but the RFPs did not show any sense of what a pilot might look like.
I've got one from the festival that Judah and I were fortunate enough, I was fortunate enough to table next to Judah for a few moments. Before he sat down, a person approached and talked about concerns about the services and the mental health care that people in jails are receiving, and that's being made available to them.
Yeah.
And to me, they're in county control. That would be a perfect place to begin to look at training folks for mental health care in a crisis situation. And so I think maybe we look inside, look at a beginning in an institutional setting, at what is, because it's a mental health focus. Their concern is interacting with mentally ill folks in a non-contained environment, non-contained world. And part of that is just understanding and learning, right, about what the disease can do with different diagnoses. And so sometimes I think that's safer for the individual's learning, is a good starting spot. It takes away the fear that's keeping them from moving forward at all.
Right.
And we really need it.
One of the things, the reason I brought this up while I was talking about the meeting with the police chief, is that he went to Colorado with the city administrator, and he was very excited. He was excited. I think he thought hoping that this might be part of the police department. So that, I mean, that was a problem, but we didn't deal with that. But he had interesting ideas, and he thought that there were lots of ways he could do it. I mean, he was very excited about seeing it started, and also excited about, what I liked especially about what he said was, it should be not just a one-time thing, get them during the emergency. There should be ways to extend the care so that it didn't happen the next day, again. I mean, he seemed to have a...
That's the nature of, a gap in care.
Right.
But I think I'm saying something different. Like, why don't we go at it from the other end? Instead of it being unarmed, right? And now everyone's focus is on the weapon, right? And the importance or significance of having the weapon. Why don't we do it from the nature of the care that's required?
Well, that was another thing that the police chief said that I was interested in. He called it, and I assume this is from Colorado, alternative response rather than an armed response. But what he meant was the triage was good enough that they could make good decisions about whether he said most of the response would probably be unarmed.
And I'm saying we need to stop looking at people at a point in time, right? For my experience, it really requires a lot of trust before someone with particularly unmedicated mental illness can respond in a way that reflects what's going on in a world that the two of you share and not just an isolated world. So thinking of it as dropping in a parachute, I think sets the whole thing up for failure. Whereas maybe what we really want to do, there are already families, probably a large percent of folks that have people in their homes that they wish they could call on someone to come and talk with them and establish a relationship with them before there's a spike or a crisis or an outbreak. So it's not a triaging thing, it's a this person thing. And it doesn't have to be just, whatever social work silo mental health, community mental health would put it in if it's, targeting a different group. That's what I think. It's just we're looking at it from the position of the gun. So people don't want that gun to go away because it makes them feel safe.
So I think what we're saying, is that we have some knowledge and some ideas that we think we should share.
And maybe if we come out of that rubric.
Yes, maybe that's right.
Right.
But, what yes or no unarmed response, maybe there's something in between that works better.
So I think that circling back, you can delegate someone to contact our members of council to set up a meeting with the administrator, have this discussion, and we can share our thoughts
And we want to know where he is. We want to hear.
Yes,
want to
yes,
hear
we
from them.
I'd
don't
like to
really
hear
know.
what he
We're
had-
getting
what he's
everything
learned.
second and
Exactly.
third hand. We
He's
don't
been
know.
very busy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you say it's worth the effort, because it might not be as easy.
Well,
Yes.
and
So let's
if
find out.
unless people have an issue, I wanted to follow up with, I don't know, the training for folks that are working with individuals with a mental illness and who are being held in the jail right now.
This is for people who aren't being held in the jail. This is a different, this
This was the conversation that caused me to say, what I really see and I'm hearing is this lack of training, and we want people to be trained in this.
no, I don't think so. Well, I don't think so. Training?
You didn't hear the story, so I'm not sure. What are you responding to? Tell me.
You're talking about people in the jails, and I'm talking about people who are calling 911 because they got a...
I'm talking about the families who called 911. They had someone taken away, put in jail, and are really upset at how they're being treated.
No.
Take the whole process.
Oh, the whole process, okay.
And just saying,
Yes. That's more
It-
holistic,
it's,
that's better.
yeah, I was just
Makes
looking
sense.
at it from how are we working with, talking to people with mental illness.
Yeah, we had an interesting discussion, and I think you identified a problem that's related but different, and that maybe that comes under new business, but that we, as far as unarmed response to people who aren't in jail, we set up a meeting with the commissioner.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, still.
And
still.
then,
Okay.
Still.
and as
Oh, I
far
see.
as,
You're-
and I'm saying, I think you're raising a separate
Oh.
area of concern that's related, but not really the same
Oh,
thing
okay.
as unarmed response.
Oh, okay.
And so I think maybe we talk about that more later in the meeting under new business,
Yeah.
because it's a separate topic.
Okay, and I guess, you know what, I think my confusion was I thought unarmed response was supposed to go through, it's not supposed to go through the sheriff, it goes through just the city? Is that what the argument? Dispatch?
It depends on,
Well, we
It
don't have
depends on
any,
what it
we don't
is.
have any input into the sheriff. We're a city.
I mean, but the model was that
the sheriff had a model for calls that they received,
right,
and we had a model for calls we received.
separate, completely
Yes.
separate. Oh, got it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, anyway, I will follow up on this and you will hear
Great.
more about it.
Great.
I appreciate
Thank you.
that.
I'm just
The
confused.
final thing that we talked about with the police chief was trespass.
Trespass again.
Remember, and we want some information about how it's going now. And the only information we have, which is good information, is that there are some groups, especially people who help the homeless, who are very happy that we're not requiring it be a 1-year ban on trespass. Does not automatically it's not automatically a year. Okay, so that's that. What else? The next thing is promotional effort, Pam. And you have done something.
Well, not so much that. I sent the information, an email to Dana Denha, who is the contact for CTN, and I have not heard from her since.
Oh.
I have looked and I have not seen our advertisement. It was just our poster, because she said she could take that and just kind of put it in the listing of all kinds of things that are happening in the city. So I've reached out to them. I'm waiting for a response. I will follow up.
good. Yeah.
But I have not seen anywhere on any of the channels our poster or anything that says who we are and what we do. I know at one point we were trying to get it upgraded to include more recent themes. But we were okay with sending what we had at that time. This is now June, I want to say March.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so I've reached out to her. I'm just waiting for a follow-up. Unless we have and want to move forward with in-person kind of,
We do.
Well, we had talked about it, but we haven't really, we were going to start with the flyer and just see how that worked. And that was more just informational, getting our name out there and have it be visible. There are people who spend a lot of time watching the various, and I have too, just to see what else is out there. It's an excellent resource to notify the community of all of the resources that are available to them or to persons who may need assistance, either through the city or other entities. And so I was a little disappointed that I didn't see our poster out there, because I think in many respects we are the best kept secret, you know, that people don't realize that we still exist, and that we've added additional protections under the ordinance that we are charged with, not only facilitating but ensuring that those who present with challenges, we can in some respects assist them in resolving that. So I don't have an answer per se, but I will follow up, and as soon as two things will happen. We'll see it, and then we can move forward to the next step to see if we want to participate in an interview discussion, kind of who we are and what we do, and so hopefully by July, you know, that's my goal.
Okay.
But I was hoping it would be sooner than now.
I just wanted to say we do have a right to sit poster too, which would be a really kind of simple thing for them to put up, because it's kind of not a complicated concept.
And it's new.
It's new.
Because,
So
yeah.
Did you see a copy of the latest?
I
I don't know if
think
you were
so.
on those threads. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, but I'll just forward that to her, because initially when I contacted her, that's what she said that she needed, just to get us out there. And so I sent that to her, and I haven't heard anything, but I'll add that.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
And hopefully by this time next month, we'll know and see and be visible to the public. And
I'm wondering if it will make a difference.
I don't know, because I'm hoping that it would.
Yeah.
But there are people who watch us, our meetings.
There are.
I run into individuals who say, I know you, and I don't. I don't really know
Do
them.
they
but
ask
then
for your autograph?
Well, no, but they say, I've seen you, you know, and so I know that people are you know, watching the various things that are available to them. But I would like for it to be more than just, you know, our name is out there and what we do, but to truly provide the service to those who may not be aware that, you know, what we do.
And now, more than ever,
Absolutely.
that someone
You know, our
on the
country-
other end of the complaint form is not going to try to talk them out of filing.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So that's where we stand with
Let's
that.
do it. And a similar issue of having to do with promoting us is business cards.
It
Oh,
turns
I
out
had a
we-
notion.
Well,
I
Oh,
thought that
but
we
no-
don't have much flexibility on that.
that's right.
That's what I should be saying.
Oh, okay,
Or-
let me know. I hadn't thought about it,
Oh,
if that was,
Go ahead.
or
Oh.
was, I was just thinking out loud, but I kind of echoing what you said, that we were pretty much stuck with what is
yes,
there.
yes, because, because I realized it doesn't matter that I'm a commissioner. And it really doesn't even matter that particular information comes from the Human Rights Commission. What matters is, I think, that there's the ability to put a QR code that's visually interesting, that leads to two, I think, well-done pages in our section, very short, brief description of the ordinances and rights that we oversee and the complaints that we hear. And it can just say, connect to your rights in the city of Ann Arbor, right? Without, you know, being a business card. I just think simplifying and getting the information out. I got the printer, apparently did fabulous low-cost glossy stuff for IPUC. They didn't charge much. I'll pay for it. I just think, you know, get the info out.
Does the QR code go just to the...
I'm going to discuss the whole thing.
Okay, go
So,
for it.
the first page, this is the city's approved sample business card layout.
Okay.
Nothing on the business card can change. This shows you the front of it and the back of it. So it's pretty much what the HRC business card looks like now. If you go to the other page, you'll see a draft of the HRC business card.
What we
Pretty
have
much
currently.
the same thing, but if you go to the back, again, the quote does not change. Again, it's the approved thing, but the QR code is there. Now, right now, that QR code does not work. It is fake. Please do not try it. It's not going to take you anywhere. But that could be where the QR code goes. Again, this is the draft copy. This is the one y'all got months ago that I sent a dollar bill. This is the city's approved vendor. We do not use other vendors for our business cards to make this business card. Now, the QR code, because you had emailed me and you had mentioned a couple things about it. You said the QR code, you wanted the ordinance, the complaint form, office hours. I checked with the company. Only one thing can be linked to the QR code. So it can either go to the ordinance, it can either go directly to the complaint form, it can either go directly to a thing
How
that
about
has
the
the office hours,
website? How about our
or it can
website?
just go to the website.
It has to go to the website.
But it's only one
Well,
QR code.
I actually think that it should go to that fabulous list of rights that you have in Ann Arbor.
I think it should go to the website because
Because-
the website has the links to file complaints. It has everything.
It is, but it's inscrutable.
It's really not.
It is
No, it
really,
is.
really, because I've run it by kids that have graduated from college, and
Well,
they're
then
like, can't we
can
just...
shorten that, but we have to have the links to the complaints on there.
I think we could put the complaint link on the inside. Just have the one link on the card go to the rights that you have in Ann Arbor. It's a nice summary. It's not confusing. And then at the bottom, it could be the complaint form or to the ordinance itself.
If you can do it, go for it.
What if there's a place on the website that has, this kind of summarizes everything?
Good luck.
And then you, no?
I mean, it does.
The truth is, we do a lot of different things, and it's not easy to summarize. And if you just say human rights, well then, the sky's the limit. So you do have to go through it's fine with me if somebody wants to take a look at the website and figure out a way to, I think mostly get rid of stuff rather than.
But even if you put it down, you sort of put.
I can't discuss this in the abstract.
Okay.
You'll have to just actually look at it and decide.
Okay.
Because I don't.
Okay, so that's what we need to be worrying about, is
Yep, so-
where on the website.
What
you have
what
the
you want the QR
go
code to go to.
Okay, and before
That's fine.
we go, I just
Yeah.
wanted to show the one that I was thinking the QR code would lead to just the one. And because it's not being entitled HRC, it's not coming from the Human Rights Commission unless you want it to come from the Human Rights Commission.
Oh, yeah,
we
we
do.
do.
Right? Oh, well, I mean, there can be one, but it seems so difficult trying to get info out that I was favoring simplicity and ease of reading, and I had 15 to 20 people read this over, and everyone agreed, but it's
No, I
just...
agree with you. I agree with you.
So it would be nice, but let me find it. In fact, I will find it because I made a QR code. I'll introduce it.
Well, why don't a couple people get, just
Go
deal
for
with
it.
it?
You do what you want with it. I'm done with it.
I actually am with Linda. After I share my thoughts about it, I'm releasing the thing. I feel like I've taken let's get some info out as far as possible, because the city, it evolves so slowly. It's we can only expend so much energy on such a small game. Small game. Well, I want to see it, but I didn't move to TV, but Pan next. I'm kidding.
Even if it goes to the place where they have the headings and the headings jump to other places.
Which is what we should get rid of, honestly. That's what makes it partly confusing. It doesn't, it's not it's not actually a table of contents. It should be. So it's the kind of organization of the site that
Yeah.
needs to be changed.
Yeah.
Those links were just put up there randomly on top.
Okay.
It's not, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be changed. I think the substance is pretty good. We can get rid of some of the stuff that's in there, like other resources and liaisons that go to the mayor, not to us, things like that. There's some stuff in there that's not crucial.
It's definitely hard to.
Yeah, but I think it's easily, again, we are constrained in the layout, which is part of the problem. You know, because the city has their, if we can, again, somebody wants to go take that to communications and say, how can you keep this substance and make it more readable, organize it differently, give it to them, see what they can do with it. But as it is
Right. I
now,
wonder
it's
if they
one
do
long
that.
column, which is why people don't like it. It's just one long column. It's a lot of words. People don't
Sure
like
is.
words. But, you know,
Okay.
that's the way it is.
I think we've got a plan. At
Okay.
least a plan of how to do it.
I think, Kennedy, you have access to the website, right? So any changes that get made, you can, yeah.
Yeah, I just need to know what the changes are.
Yeah, but we're not ready for the business card yet, but we will be.
Well, no, you can still have the QR to the website and then change the website whenever you change
Right.
the website.
Oh.
It's still much better than
Can you
nothing.
do that?
Have the QR code go to the website?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not volunteering for this, but my 2 cents is, we need to go to the website as it is. That's where people need to go eventually to file a complaint
Yeah,
anyway.
and we can change the website.
And whether it's
but-
opaque or not, that's
Yeah.
the status quo.
The layout of the website can be changed.
Yeah.
For example, if there's a certain city page that you see and you're like, oh, this layout looks a
Looks
lot
good.
better than ours.
Yeah.
The only thing I need to know is what information to keep, what information to remove, and exactly where you want it. That's it.
Right.
And that can be like a quick little email, and I can have it done. I think I just need a couple hours or a day to
Yeah,
finish it.
thank you.
So I just, again, once you guys have those details,
Yeah.
ready to go. As far as the business card, yes, the QR code can go to the website.
Oh.
And there would be, just like on the front copy of the business card, the website's listed there, but it won't be there. It'll just be under the QR code.
Can the QR code be on the front
No.
of it? Oh. Well, who turns
That's
over a
okay.
business card?
That's all right. These
You
days
know, it
people
might be,
do.
I don't know. I assume people might.
When you hand it to them, you show them the back,
Yeah,
you know.
it's okay.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thanks,
Does the
Kennedy,
QR
very
code go
much.
to the top of the website or to any place? Can we put it anywhere on the website?
It's the link. A link actually has like a thing, an index on it. So if there's a specific place on the website you want it to go, we can have
No.
that link go there. But
Oh.
if the link will just take them
It's
to the
confusing,
website.
isn't it?
So
Okay.
I just need to know.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
once y'all do,
Yeah.
we'll get right on it.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that,
That's all I got.
Good.
I think it should go to the website. Plus, I think that's consistent with our flyer.
Right.
You know, so if once we're on CTN and they see the flyer, it's pointing them to the website. This
Yeah,
is
it
just
has to be
another way for them to access us. And as you said, Judah, should they have a need to file a complaint, they got to go there regardless. So I
Yeah.
think we need to be uniform and consistent with what we say and do.
We can make
and just-
improvements to the website, but that's
Absolutely.
that's
Yes.
the mothership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we need a kind of single one
Yeah,
thing, you know, with all of the ways that we're communicating, where individuals can go to and they can get what they need or read what's available that we offer.
okay,
Point of
thank you.
clarification. Are we approving the new business card to have the QR code and the QR code go directly to the website? Because the person called me today. I'm happy to get this ordered. Done.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve that as Kennedy proposed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, I will.
I oppose.
Okay, well, we have one opposition, but majority rules.
You oppose?
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, there is something missing.
Yes, I do.
Our website email, remember we said we wanted that on there? Not email, our website address. under the QR code or somewhere?
Yeah, so it's here, but it'll go.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what I meant
Oh, it
earlier.
is. Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
Here,
It
so
is.
to make
Oh,
it
it's
go
at
with
the
the
bottom.
QR code,
I didn't-
it'll go at the
Oh,
bottom
okay.
under the QR code.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
Okay, I was gonna say, is
didn't
that
op-
okay?
I didn't open it the whole way.
It's okay.
It's there.
It
Okay.
happens.
Thank you. Okay, great. Appreciate it.
Then I will follow up with
Okay,
our vendor.
great.
And have a
Thank you. You can send us the bill. We won't pay it, but you can send it to us.
That's right. We don't have any money, but. So
Okay.
is the email address going to be on the front page?
So if you look at
Emails
the
on the top.
front page, the emails appear in this one.
Right.
So the only thing that's going to change about this is the website address at the bottom is going to go on the back with the QR code instead of being on the front. It'll go with the QR code on the back.
I think it should be in the front also, because I don't think a lot of people have it in the back. No?
Can it be on the front?
I can ask if both can go on. Why not?
This
I'll
is
see.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather, if it can only be in one place, I'd rather it was on the front.
okay. So if
What do
it
you
can't
think?
go on the back, just keep it on the front.
What,
Okay.
I mean, what do you guys think? Is that-
I think it should go on the front.
Okay.
It has to be in
What
the
do you
front,
think?
I think.
I don't think it matters. I think
We're going to keep the QR
people are
code, we're
gonna-
going to keep the email.
it's a
and
two-sided
everything going
card, you
back
show
to
them
this.
both sides.
Well,
People can flip over a card and
But
they
people
can find the
people
website.
pick it up.
Yeah, but the website.
From where?
I think that makes sense.
We'll go there,
When we
but if you
table,
can't
a
go
lot of
there.
times they're on the,
So
I
it
think that
raises
makes
the
sense,
question,
because
if you can have one on the front and you can have one on the back, why are we only restricted to one?
no, we can do both.
So we could do
I
one on
guess.
the front and one on the back.
Well, I'm gonna check.
Yeah, if
Because again,
not-
it has to follow this. And so if it say it can only go in one spot,
Yeah.
it's gonna go in one
That's
spot.
fine.
Right.
Okay, all right, if we can,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, no problem.
Okay.
Upcoming events?
Okay. We certainly have the Juneteenth event, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but do we know of any other events that are coming up?
Yes, Ann Arbor Pride, August 2nd.
Ooh,
And you won't be here?
I won't be here.
Oh.
I won't because it's my birthday.
Oh,
I'll be back.
I just noticed that today, and they have tons of vendors, and I don't know if it costs money. I sent Judah and you both the website and the vendor sign up. It looks like the vendor sign up is more an are you maybe interested kind of thing. So if we have enough people who will be here, I don't know if we will. I think I'll be here, I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know if I will or not.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be here.
okay.
It's the second. August
August 2nd. Anyway, it's just a thought. I just saw that. It's downtown.
It would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I guess I just have some questions about festivaling.
Yes. We are going to talk about festivaling and whether it's useful.
Oh, okay. All right, I meant how we do it.
Okay, yeah, no, we,
Okay,
that's,
so, okay,
I have
gotcha.
that under new business. I don't know that
Okay.
there is new business.
I will wait.
But before we do that, let's look at our strategic planning goals, which will get us ready for new
The
business.
strategic plan goal is also in your packet.
Thank you.
This is a year since our strategic planning. I said mid-year, but it's actually
mid-year.
July of last year. We had the strategic planning meeting. We came up with a number of goals. I think there were
How
6.
the world has changed.
7. And
Since my name is on a lot of them, why don't I just go through them?
that would be good.
Okay, so the first one is the orientation packet, which I keep working on. It's getting longer and longer. Like the website, you'll probably think it's too many words, but I see my job as kind of including everything, so it's kind of a book for anybody who wants to know anything about the HRC for the new members. Well, it'll have to be formatted with a table of contents, and people can pick and choose what they want to read. I initially shared it just with the other 2 people on this, Brandon and Leslie, but yesterday sent it to Vanessa, the new people, Vanessa and Hannah and Rebecca, just to see with their new eyes, like
Yes.
what they want to know.
That would be good.
I can share it with everybody, but we can just wait and see. I'm still adding things as I think of them. Today I added a section on FOIA, and I went through all our old
Wow.
FOIA requests. Things that we've learned over the years.
Yes.
I've covered, the basics, the history of the HRC, complaint procedures, what people see when they hit the complaint button, meetings, the bylaws. I guess to some extent I can talk about city structure, government. I mean, Brandon mentioned that. I don't know if people want to know that. But I'll be interested to hear what Vanessa and Rebecca and
Yeah.
Sorry,
Say.
it's hard.
No problem. That's fine. And I just keep adding things as I
It was fascinating. We do not have a place right now for everything, and this is very
well, and that
helpful to
brings
have
that's another goal on here is
Yeah, right.
is
a place for documents.
shared informational resource
Right.
drive. So
And Brandon is
really, that's just a question of taking everything that's on the website, including the annual reports and the PDF of the bylaws and all the ordinances and our resolutions and basically everything that's been sort of formalized and putting it in one place.
Right.
And I would leave that to maybe Brandon or somebody who's better at that kind of thing than me.
Right.
And then I'm also on the monthly complaint handling meetings we do informally when necessary after the meetings. And the annual complaint handling training, that was Judah and me, and we said we would maybe do it in July. I think probably September or something. It's going to end up being a better date. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah. And then we're doing well on community and human rights related event things since we'd have 2 this month and we're looking at others. And then we talked about the CTN thing. So I think that's, and then 7 was established documentation process. That's sort of redundant, I think, a little bit, but maybe not. I'm not sure what that meant. Do you know?
It's part of it is what you're doing, actually.
Yeah,
Because-
establish its documentation process for recording key HRC information.
But another part of it, I think, was making sure we had a place for that everybody knew about and was easy to access.
Well, that's the same as the shared resource drive, so
Right,
I'm not really
right.
sure. I think we had something
Kind
else
of
in
not,
mind.
it's sort of redundant.
So I don't know if anybody has anything to add. I just thought I would try to speed it up and go through that.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Note that one of the things we hoped to do was have every commissioner attend at least 2 community or human rights related events. But what we're trying to do is outreach, get to know more of the community, let the community know more about us. And we've been much better at it this year because we have events, but we don't have enough events for people who haven't been attending, who haven't been tabling. So we're at tabling, I think. Let's see. What did you think about A2 Festival? It was the first time we've gone.
The African American Festival.
African American Festival. Is that worth going to?
Did it seem useful to people?
Is there a way we can make it more useful?
You said, what did we think about it?
Yeah, what did we think about the value of our being there?
Oh,
I mean,
I thought it was actually quite informative. I learned.
I did too.
Yeah, 2 or 3 different issues were presented once you talked about with people about what you were doing there and, the kind of world you were hoping to work for.
My experience seemed like there were a lot more people there than at the Juneteenth,
Yeah.
and certainly a lot more people coming by the table. So I had more interactions with
good.
the public, not to mention great conversations with my table mates.
When I was there, they weren't stopping very much.
Okay.
And I didn't like being at the end of the
Yeah.
But
That was,
glad that they stopped when you were there.
let me know when it's time to talk about tabling, because that's
Yeah,
the
that's
general issue that I want
right.
to talk about.
Let's talk about it. It's time.
Okay.
We're on it.
I just feel like we don't have the kind of commission that will allow for a kind of passivity, right? If we're already the best kept secret, no one's looking for us. So, I was thinking maybe there'd be ways that we could get engaged and get people engaged with us. For instance, a 50-50 raffle costs nothing, and people get very excited about it. Those kinds of licenses for the day of the event, when you're talking about small bits of money, always exciting.
Okay.
You can add different kinds of questions that will allow people to get free tickets. They can't, chip in cash. Just
Free tickets to what? Free tickets to,
a 50-50 raffle.
I don't know what that means.
However much money gets put in the pot, the winner takes 50%, second place takes, a third.
So we give out as much as we take in.
Or something.
Yeah, but people are looking for you to generate, because for $1 you might walk out with 50.
I don't know if the city would allow a city commission to get involved in that sort of thing. And then we'd have to make sure people are just passing through and leaving. Everybody would have to leave their name and address. We'd have to contact them afterwards. That seems like a huge
Well,
undertaking.
you're only going to have 3 winners. I've done them, and they're not that hard.
I don't know. You'd have to clear that with the city. I'd be amazed.
I would like to, because honestly, it just is beginning to feel very much like it's overly constrained for the times. We have to be able to reach out to people. We are ever going to not be the best kept secret. Well, we have to break out and do something. And
Yeah.
I had the best luck talking to folks and getting input into, are you comfortable? Do you hear any human rights issues? When I went up and talked to them, not waiting for them to come, right?
Yes.
Well, that's something else.
That's something.
I mean, and there are ways of getting people excited about what you do, and then people that don't have a human rights issue, gamifying anything, will cement a memory, right? We could tie it all to history. We could, ask kids questions about,
that's
make it educational.
right.
That Fair Housing does that. Fair Housing, they have that they have a bunch of questions. They have
Right.
some kind of a.
That's true.
That
That's
was
a good
nice.
idea. Yeah.
And IPPOC is nice also. They've got a laminated card with all the things you can't be stopped for.
Yes, I know.
Now.
And
that's very cool. People like those.
I talked to Stephanie, and she was the one that said, well, it doesn't have to have, the important thing is that the information get to people, not that it say City of Ann Arbor or that it say Human Rights Commission. So, if somebody's got $20 and they really want the community to understand their rights, we should, not be constrained because this is not the time for it. And I agree with her.
If we have a good idea,
Yeah.
we will find ways
Right?
to fund.
That's when I started to say, well, who cares what my name is? I don't need a business card, right? Here's a link to your rights. Look at them if you need them. That's, I think, better for the times.
So there are a couple things we could do to make it a little bit more interesting for people who come to our table.
But to rise from the table, come up with ways to mingle.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Just people probably know how to do things. I don't, but
I don't either.
people. They love interactive, right?
Do people want to get together and try to figure some things out or suggest some things? No?
Well, it seems short. It seems
But
short.
you do, and I would be interested in doing that.
we're short for next weekend, right?
Yeah, next weekend, or it's this week.
This weekend.
It is,
Saturday.
This weekend. So I don't even know how long it takes to get a 50 by 50 raffle ticket license.
Well, that we can't do.
Why not?
Well, not for this one. Not for
Why not?
this.
Well, why not?
Because
If it's not short. What would you do?
I suspect that Linda's right in that we can't.
Well, and Linda may be right. Absolutely
We
right.
can find out.
Go ahead and ask.
That's all.
Ask what?
I can't just keep saying
Why don't you
it's-
find out?
Can I just call Margie and get
Ask
her
her,
opinion?
yeah,
She
ask
says,
her.
you know, yes, if I had more time, or no, never.
Ask her.
Yeah,
That'd
ask
be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we ought to be thinking though about those kinds of things. How do we get people's attention? Because I think people they need to know about us.
Well, and they need to engage with us in a way that brings trust.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, right now, even local government is not so safe.
No kidding.
No,
Don't we share a table with the ICPOC and disabilities? And isn't it at Wheeler Park?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I've served on it previously.
Yes,
So I was actually at the African American Arts Festival, but I was with, and our group has a table.
Oh, with the chorale?
With the chorale.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
And we sang that morning.
Oh,
Yeah, so, yeah.
I
So,
didn't see it. I
told us.
Yes, you should have told us.
wonderful.
okay, so I told Leslie that's why I was
I didn't know you had a table there.
We had a booth.
Oh, for goodness
And
sake.
I actually printed the brochures that we distributed for our event. And so I couldn't be in two places at the same time for obvious reasons, right?
Did you have a lot of interest?
We did. We had people come and signing up because we're a no audition entity where you can just come and sing, and then we take the summer off, and then we regroup back in the fall, and we do this. We
That's
have two
wonderful.
new directors, a director and assistant director, and the director is. Well, one, he's on the Lansing School Board, but he's over two other musical groups that we will be participating in citywide in December.
Nice.
And then I was telling Leslie, we sang today at Michigan Union for their Juneteenth celebration. So so I'm, it's a fun thing, right?
Tell us next time.
That's the thing. It's,
Sign up?
So, so one of the members of the chorale actually was instrumental in our participating in the event today. But our director is very resourceful, and he's just phenomenal for one. And he's doing some of the same things for the chorale that we're talking about doing for HRC, getting the word out, soliciting or eliciting, interest, or how we can be of assistance to people. But I agree with what you're saying, Keita. I don't know what. I'm now on the board for the chorale, and so I'm coming in behind the fact of things that others have already done. But this is our second year, the chorale's second year of being involved in the African American Festival, and we sang last year, and we had a booth. And so it's just all the ways that we're trying to get the word out that talks about us. I think what would be super helpful is if we're on CTN.
yeah.
So I'm going to make that a priority that we get there.
And honestly, I just want to make a statement to it would be, I am beginning to find it soul crushing that any idea requires you can't, led to feel like I can't even make a request, but that the group's suggestion is simply, take it no further, make no inquiry, quell it in your own mind. And that level of personal suppression, I think it's not a good, it's not a good strategy to be engaged in the community and really work with them, because I'm suppressing myself. So I'm going to be engaging with folks, encouraging that same kind of energy. I don't believe in it. I mean, I don't want to represent the city of Ann Arbor in any way in which it does not wish to be represented, and I adhere to those limits, which is why I love the very practical solution of, if it's the information, then let it be the information, right? And that really helped me pull out of this sort of petty, who cares, business card, brochure, it doesn't, no name is needed, right?
Yeah,
Just the info.
yeah.
And with that
if you're trying to get
comes,
in contact with somebody at CTN, Tim is in there, so if you want
Well,
to talk to him after the meeting.
I
he should be able
can,
to
but
assist.
I was told that Dana is my contact. I've forgotten now the first person that I reached out to, and
After the meeting, let's double
Yeah,
check with him.
okay.
We'll see.
and in fact,
because
I'll help you out. I got you. I didn't know it was that long. I got you.
well, it's been a long process because when I first reached out, it was like, oh, you have to have your city liaison give us permission to even talk. It's bureaucratic. It's red tape. It's like we got to jump through a million hoops for a simple thing, right?
We'll talk to him.
So here we are.
To get some clarity and things like that.
does everything have to be recorded on their equipment? To be played
Well-
on their equipment?
Excuse me, anything that we want does. And we have to work with those entities that make that happen, which I understand is what every other entity that is out there now had to do. So we got the approval. In fact, it was under, who was our former city liaison, and she had to leave. Her parents became ill.
Denise?
No, she used to sit over there.
Oh, I know who you mean.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, she worked.
Lynn.
She worked.
Lynn Song. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when Lynn was on the commission, I reached out to CT, and then it was like, oh, well, you have to have your city council person do this. So then Lynn is like, what? Done, right?
Yes, yes.
So
Okay. All right, I just was, all right, good.
Can we talk about the schedule for this Saturday? So
Yes,
I think,
yes,
is
let's
anybody
do that.
available 3 to 4? Leslie had me.
Yeah.
We have it here.
It's in the,
I think
I
maybe
have it.
everybody here is already.
I don't think I signed up.
because
I don't think you did sign up.
That's why I'm looking for
Here,
it.
it's right here.
So it looks like there are 2 people from 12 to 2. You had me from 2 to 4,
Right,
but I
I know,
can
I
only be there
understand that. I
till
should-
3.
Yeah. So we need.
I'm also 2
Yeah.
to 4, and I can't.
No,
be-
you're not. You're
oh.
1 to.
Oh, I'm 1 to 2. I'm 1
Yeah.
to 2. I mean, I'm sorry, 1 to 3. I'm the first. 12 to
What
2.
does it
You're
say?
12,
Yeah,
are you
he's
12
12
to
to
2
2.
with Leslie? I think
I
with
see it.
Hannah.
I was,
With Hannah.
you're with Hannah.
Judah
so
is 12 to 2 with Hannah.
Linda, what do you want to do?
I can only stay until 3. I can do anything up until 3 if somebody wants to switch
I'll
with
pick
me.
up at 3.
Okay, great.
So then
And-
you just need to be there, what, 3 to 4, right?
Because Brandon is 4 to
Yeah,
5.
12
Yeah.
to 2. Okay.
Yep. And I can, I don't know if they leave on time or.
So, no,
they
wait.
end on time.
They wait.
Let me,
Okay.
so who's
I'll do 2 to 3.
2 to 3? It's
All right,
Linda.
let me write that down.
Peter will
is
be 3 to 4.
Yup.
Thank you, Keita.
Oh, no.
Okay, I will send this out corrected.
That's all right.
Then.
You don't have to. I mean, either way.
And this Saturday?
Wheeler Park.
At Willard Park, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad you catch it early.
Okay.
Yeah, I had already had prior commitments, which is why I didn't do it last Saturday. And I didn't
I messed myself
with
up
this
so
Saturday.
badly last week.
It's
I
just
didn't
the
know
way
whether
that
I
the
was going or
calendar is
coming.
falling. This coming weekend is Father's Day weekend.
Oh,
So, it's just
yeah.
one of those things.
So are we done? Should I make
I
a
think,
move?
yes, I
Okay.
think so. Anybody else have anything? Any commissioner announcements or anything?
Okay, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
Was the music okay?
And
That one song, I was like, oh crap. I listened to everything, so.
Also, off the record, hopefully he's not taping. Are we?